Yo, what's up guys, this is Zane. Welcome back to the GameLeap Valorant channel. Today we're going to be talking about something that I've been asked in my YouTube comments and in my Twitch chat a lot lately, and that is people that are hard stuck in their rank and that feel like that they can't get out, that it's just that they can't improve and they don't see themselves improving at all. I got from silver to immortal in one act and never really was hard stuck in any rank, so I feel like I kind of found the formula in order to not get hard stuck and improve consistently the higher you go. One thing that sure helps improve is the GameLeap website. They have premium guides made by pro level players and they're honestly amazing. I've used them myself to rank up and genuinely it helps a lot. They do the VOD reviewing for you. There is coaching on there. There's everything you need to improve. Make sure to check them out. Code Zane for 25% off. Okay, so the one big thing that I want to talk about today is the room for error. What you guys need to understand is that the room for error, the higher you go in rank, becomes way smaller. A lot of people don't think about this, and that way you build bad habits. Plays that you get away with in maybe silver, iron, gold lobbies because your enemies aren't as good either and aren't punishing you for your mistakes. Only because you're getting away with these plays doesn't mean that the plays were correct. It doesn't mean that that's going to work in higher elos against better players. If you're going to keep making those plays and keep thinking they're good because they're working out, you're going to end up doing them in higher ranks and they're just not going to work out for you, and you're going to end up losing games for no reason. That's why it is really important to not be so outcome oriented. Only because a play worked out, that doesn't always mean that it was the right play. You know what I mean? For example, you might rotate way too early in a gold lobby and the enemies don't capitalize on it and run into the site and essentially get rolled. But that doesn't work in higher elos because the enemies are going to notice that you rotated off very early and are going to punish that guy for not being in his position. That essentially tricks your brain into thinking that rotating early is a good play because it won you that round. But in higher elos, the higher you go up, you're going to end up getting punished for it and losing rounds for it. That is essentially how you get hard stuck. You keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again because you think it's the right play when in reality it just isn't. Okay, so let's get right into it and start with the bottom ranks. We're going to start with iron, silver, gold, and maybe low platinum. In those ranks, you're still going to be making core mistakes. The room for error in those ranks is still big to the point where you don't have to master every single skill, but you're going to have to be able to at least know the core mechanics a little bit on average in order to perform in your rank games. There's essentially 3 core things in your gameplay that you need to master in order to get out of those ranks. The first thing would be crosshair placement. It essentially comes down to who puts more effort into it. You can hop into a practice range, you can hop into a custom game and practice your crosshair placement on there, practice walking onto a site and clearing the different angles, practice just keeping that crosshair at head level, maybe get some lineups for your pre-fires or whatever, you know. It essentially just comes down to who puts more effort and time into actually practicing. Your good crosshair placement is going to net you some free kills, especially in low elo because the enemies play in pretty predictable spots. The second thing that is really important is mastering the agent that you're playing, mastering the few agents that you have in your pool, actually knowing the lineups, actually knowing setups for Cypher, actually knowing good walls on Sage, you know, actually knowing where to place them, how to use your util, when to use your util. That all essentially just comes with playing the agent a lot, actually watching guides, actually watching, you know, GameLeap.com guides, you know what I'm saying? And just like, you know, you have to play the agent a lot. It's essentially comes down to who puts more time and effort into it. If you're going to have low effort, if you're going to put 0 effort into it and not practice your agent lineups, not actually learn any setups, then obviously you're not going to be ranking up as much as the other players that actually put the time and effort in. The third and final thing is just going to be mechanics, your movement. How do you actually press the buttons on your keyboard? If you've actually ever used a fucking mouse and keyboard in your life, you know, getting used to everything and just, you know, getting those core mechanics down. Nothing crazy. You don't have to be Flights 2.0. You don't have to be Tens or Scream. Just the basics. You have to get the basics down and not make core mistakes anymore. Because the room for error is big, so you don't have to master everything, but it's not big enough for you to just whiff every shot. You still have to know the basics. Now, the higher you start climbing, the higher you start going in rank, the more you're going to notice that room for error gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So you might have gotten away with only knowing the basics in the lower ranks, but now that you're higher up there, you're going to have to start to put more effort into it. You can't just know the basics anymore. You have to be a better than average player. You have to put more than average effort in, and you have to perform better than average. But this is the thing right here. Since the room for error is pretty small, your mistakes are going to be pretty small as well. They're not going to be as big as before. There's not just going to be some giant elephant in the room, like you can't even aim properly even though you're in like diamond or plat or gold 3. You know what I mean? This is where VOD reviewing comes into play. VOD reviewing is a really important step. There is a reason why every single pro level player has VOD reviewed themselves before. Because when you play the game, you don't actually notice tiny mistakes that you're making. You don't notice them right away. Maybe after you die, you notice after the fact, oh, maybe that was not the play. But still, the next round starts and you have to focus up again. You can't actually adapt that to your gameplay. Looking at the game you've played from an outsider's perspective is going to let you see all these tiny mistakes that you and your team are making that's causing you guys to lose the round round. Every time you lose a round, every time you die, think about, oh, was this not the right play? Did I know the enemy was there? Did I have info? Was it literally just my raw aim that held me back? You know, that's information as well. Only because a play didn't work out, that doesn't always mean it was a bad play. Sometimes literally your mechanics just weren't up to date. Now, I had a friend that did this and actively thought about what he did wrong, and he was like, okay, yeah, I did this wrong there, and he was right. You know, I was listening to him and I was like, yeah, you're right, that was your mistake. And then he hopped into the next game or into the next round, and he just did it again right away, because he just, you know, in one ear out the other. He knew that was the mistake he was making, but he just hopped in right away without thinking about it and just did it again. So after you've noticed all these tiny mistakes, actually implement them in your gameplay. Actually start, you know, adjusting your playstyle to what you did wrong last game. If you don't do that, then it's just going to be in one ear out the other, and you're just going to keep doing that mistake over and over again, and that's essentially going to get you heart stuck. And the most important thing about all of this is essentially, if you've never VOD reviewed before, the people that have VOD reviewed before will be able to actually agree with this. Do not get overwhelmed by all the mistakes that you're seeing, because looking at it from an outsider's perspective for the first time can be a little overwhelming, because there's so much going on and you're noticing so much more that's going on, the little things, the details. Do not get overwhelmed by these mistakes. Look at them one by one and try to fix them one by one until essentially you've gotten rid of almost all of them. Obviously, no player is perfect. Even pro players make mistakes all the time. If you've ever VOD reviewed a pro, you would know. But the mistakes just have to get limited. They have to be smaller and smaller and smaller, because that room of error, the higher you go, is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So basically, if you're really committed to improving and you actually want to get better at the game, then you can't be getting away with not putting the time in. You have to put more time in than the rest of us in order to get better than the rest of us. You actually have to VOD review. So many people that I've told to VOD review that were like, nah, dude, I'm too lazy. And guess what? These guys are heart stuck gold, heart stuck silver, and they can't get out. Be better than that, guys. Come on. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. Make sure to go to GameLeap.com. Check out the guys. They're amazing. Use code Zane for 25% off. Check me out on YouTube. Check me out on Twitch, Zane Lil. And yeah, hope you guys do your homework. Peace.